You know, Hollywood screenwriters would have a field day with this kind of setting. It's two undefeated teams vying for a postseason bid. There's football excitement here on Long Island that there hasn't been in many years. A couple of coaches who don't particularly like one another. And, of course, there's the Todd Jamison saga. Jamison, who played for Hofstra, transferred over here to St. John's. He has been a dynamic factor in the St. John's program. In fact, has helped beat Hofstra the last couple of years. Todd Jamison lived the dream that we all dream about last year at Hofstra Stadium, when he scored 5 touchdowns rushing and passed for another in leading St. John's to a dramatic victory. Let's relive.
And I think the defense has improved vastly over the year, and they're going to show St. John's just who's number one.
I'm very much excited about the game. I played in last year's game, and it was one of the best games, you know, I ever played. Best college football game I think I've.
Kicking off will be Barry Cavanero, number 7. Barry, an outstanding kicker, has had problems with an ankle injury, and he was questionable coming into today's game. He can boot field goals from around 40 to 45 yards. He can kick on the punts around 40 yards, and he steps forward, and we will be underway as the kick comes down to the goal line. Taken up to the 20-yard line. Pat Skiri with the return, and the ball down at around the 20-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the St. John's Redmen. St. John's has won 15 straight. That's the second leading streak in the nation behind Nebraska. And they'll be putting the ball in play 1st and 10. Let's call it at the 20-yard line. And Walt, what can we look for something? Their philosophy is every inch of the field you've got to defend on.
I really think you're just going to see Jamison feel him out right now. I don't think they'll try to open it up. He'll try to see what he can do with this win situation down there.
All right, they'll work out of the I formation. Blygen the tailback, Cassa the fullback. And a handoff faking to Blygen. And looking is the quarterback, intercepted by Timmy Feldman. Feldman going crossfield to the 30, chased by Steve Goldberg, down to the 25, still on his feet, down the sideline, run out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So the guy who's been everywhere, last week he had 12 tackles, 6 assists, caused 3 fumbles, knocked down 2 passes, and intercepted 2 passes. Timmy Feldman, the man of the hour right here.
You'd have to say we couldn't write a better script for the game here, Barry. They started right out with the fellow that everybody predicted. Of course, he was helped by a tip ball. I thought for a moment there that it could have been a great catch by the St. John's receiver, but once again, good players have a way of being in the right position at all times.
1st and 10 from the 15. Rich Cadell is the quarterback, and they line up now with the Viola 32 as a wingback in motion. Veneziano, the handoff going to the big fullback. McKenna gets about 5 tough yards down to around the 10-yard line before he's stopped by the St. John's defense. Ed Harkins, the big interior lineman from Comac South High School, stopped him. And it's a pickup of around 5, where it'll set up 2nd and 5 from the 10.
Good offensive movement by the Hofstra line. It appears that they're really ready to go, just as we thought. They moved the entire left side of the St. John's defense and got a good 5 yards on that play. That's the kind of first down you want to start out with. 5 yards.
This time they flank Emil Wolgemuth, the wide receiver, to the left. And the handoff going to Viola, and inside the 10 to around the 8-yard line before he's stopped by the nose guard, Jeff D. Simone, the 5'9", 205-pound sophomore from Bayshore out of St. John the Baptist High School, where a couple of your sons have played some football.
Yes, and they have a great program there. There's a little counteraction in the backfield by the halfback. Of course, he didn't fool the linebackers. This wing tee is designed for counteraction many times to take the linebackers out of the play, misread the play, and of course, hopefully the ball carrier has a little hold there.
Let's call it 3rd and 3. In motion is Viola, single setback, and the handoff going to McKenna. He's got the first down and a touchdown. So Hofstra's alert defense, the electric company, gives him the football at the 15, and they march in 3 plays for the touchdown. Emerson Boozer and the Flying Dutchman are flying early here.
And this is the guy that, as we're watching our replay,
Hargrove. And waiting for Cavanero to do the booting. The ball falls off the tee again. What about the wind factor? You and I and them were down there in the field. It seems to be blowing quite hard.
Yes, it is. It's coming across the field and rather than up and down lengthwise. So it could be a factor throwing the ball. I didn't think it took the ball anyway as far as the first pass by Jamison was concerned. But again, we'll have to look a little further and see if the wind is a factor throwing the football here. Kicking, why, it's been fine for them.
All right, long kick, and it's going to go out of the end zone. Cavanero has a great foot. A lot of the pro teams interested in Barry Cavanero.
Yes, there are quite a few scouts have been around from most of the teams in the National Football League.
So St. John's will put it in play. 1st and 10 from the 20. Let's take a look at that Hofstra defense. Defensive end Mike Borges, who leads them in tackles and sacks. Mike Forrest, the other defensive end. Ed Ainbinder and Chuck Chewinski, very quick tackles. The linebackers, outstanding. Brian McCarthy, Jeff Tepper filling in for Lobel. Dave Bergman, and of course that safety, the two safeties, Mateo and Feldman, outstanding. Likewise, the quarterbacks Walcott and Scorzelli, very, very quick in that secondary. Jamison calling signals from the eye. Pitch back going to Blygen. Blygen has a good hole, and he gets 7 yards before he's stopped by Chuck Chewinski, number 99, and it'll set up a 2nd and 3 play. Blygen's had an outstanding year, Walt. He's got great leg power. He had a high of 168 yards this year against Marist, and he's had 10 games of over 100 yards in his career.
Yes, there's a big kid, Blygen, and of course he ran well that time. I thought an ordinary back may have been stopped in the hole. He got himself 6-7 yards on that play with good hard running.
Jamison looking downfield, throwing it is complete to the tight end. Chris Lynch, no, they say incomplete, as Lynch had it and then dropped it. He was defended on the play by Timmy Feldman, and it'll set up a 3rd down and 3 from the 27.
Appeared like that was a good hit by Tim Feldman, right in the small of the back, just as he was about to put the ball away, and as a result, it came out of his grasp. There it is right there. See, the hit comes right out of his hand and dropped it up and stripped him of the ball.
And this Hofstra team really can hit. They are a swarming type team, and they will make you pay the price if you're going to come up with a football. 3rd down and 3 as Jamison has time. Now drops it to the sideline. Overthrows Blygen, who was all alone out at the 35-yard line. So St. John's will be forced to punt as Carl Wenz will check into the ball game to do the punting, number 35. And Blygen a little bit upset. He was open, and the ball was overthrown.
Jamison went with a quick count that time and seemed to have the Hofstra defense shifting around, which evidently looks like a plan of Coach Wickers. But, of course, the blitz came on a little late, hustled his throw, and, of course, he overthrew on the sideline. Once again, we'll have to keep looking at possibly the win because his receiver was wide open.
Wenz averages around 37 yards a kick. His longest, 46. Back to take the kick is Mateo and Feldman. Both are fine receivers, but the wind affects that kick, and it only goes across midfield to the 48-yard line. Let's take a look at common opponents. All three have defeated Iona, Wagner, and Fordham. Hofstra won 30-0. St. John's 41-3. Hofstra against Wagner 19-0. St. John's 35-29. Hofstra shut out Fordham 14-0, and St. John's beat him 28-7. Hofstra shutting out all three of the common opponents there, Walt.
Well, I guess that's indicative of the defense, and that shows us the kind of offense that St. John's has. And, of course, I think as this game progresses, we're going to see both those things. Offense for St. John's, defense for Hofstra.
25-yard punt as Cadella handing off to McKenna, and boy, he's going to get his number called today with Mullins out of the lineup. He gets a couple of yards crossing midfield down around the 49-yard line. Tony Baruso, the fine linebacker, the leading tackler in this 52 defense, makes the stop, and it's 2nd down and let's call it 7 from the 49.
Not much there that time, Barry, but he did a good job of just playing hard runner and moving into the line.
Well, Hofstra would like to maintain ball control and keep it out of the hands of Todd Jamison and Dennis Blygen and company. Wogemuth flank wide to the right. They've got a wide receiver to the left side, Mackey, and again the handoff going to McKenna. Very short yardage against that St. John's improved defense in the middle. Jeff DeSimone, the nose guard, who is a very quick kid, injured most of last year, makes the stop. McKenna's carried 4 times for 17 yards. 3rd and 6 from the 48M. What do you look for here from Hofstra? They have yet to put the ball in the air.
I don't think they will at this moment. They've got the big break early. They've got the big lead at 7 points, so you stay with it right now. I wouldn't bother with the football.
Out of the I formation, they shift. Viola and McKenna, the running backs. They've got wide receivers to the left and right. Cadella looks like he's going to throw. Has time. On the run, throws incomplete. Bobby Nellen, the secondary strong safety, had the ball in his hands and dropped it. The young freshman out of Comstock High School at Fort Jefferson Station. And
I'd have to say Emerson was right on that. He should not have thrown that ball because it looked like his receiver was the St. John safety man.
It looked that way. You'll see him as he rolls it again, Cadella.
Right here, I think maybe if it was healthy Emerson, he maybe would have run with the ball. Looks like the quarterback would have gotten some yardage there because he definitely did not have his receiver out there at the time.
I thought at one point he would run.
Well, he has a hip pointer, as you both know, and he has to try to see limited time and avoid an injury. Back to punt is Cavanero, punting to the near side, and it will go into the end zone where St. John's will get it on the touchback at 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. We've played only 3 minutes and 46 seconds of this first quarter, and that's a 47-yard point for Cavanero, in case you just joined us. Hofstra took advantage of a Timmy Feldman interception, went 15 yards. Bobby McKenna going over on an 8-yard run to put them at front 7-0, and that's the way we stand right now. So Redmen get their 3rd possession here. They've been stopped each of the first 2 times. That's something that hasn't happened too often to St. John's this year.
I'd have to say the wind maybe was a little bit of a factor. Right there, that kick showed that it maybe shifted directions, and it's in Hofstra's favor right now.
All right, they've got a slot right formation. And a pitch back going to Blygen. Blygen gets across the 27-yard line, stopped there by the Hofstra defense. Chewinski and Scorzelli combining to make the stop. Let's go to the sidelines and Carl Reuter. Rich Palladino leading the blocking, the center. He's an outstanding performer. 6'2", 255-pounder out of Lindenhurst. Out of the eye, once again they work. Blygen to the 35 and maybe to the 36 before he swarmed under. Jeff Tepper, the linebacker, another youngster from Lindenhurst, came up to make the stop. It'll set up 2nd and 7 from the 35. Blygen has carried 3 times for 18 yards.
He's holding pretty much his average right now, Barry. Looks like he can become a big factor in this game as Jamison loosens up this Hofstra defense, goes to his back, and he can come back throwing once he gets the wind in the second quarter.
Blygen has rushed for 620 yards this year and 5 touchdowns. As we pointed out earlier, he can throw as well. Jamison with time, scrambling. Up the middle, he's at the 40 and has the first down at the 43-yard line. And that's what we saw Jamison do so effectively last year. But playing on this field, compared to the AstroTurf at Hofstra, he can't perhaps scramble as well as he can.
I don't know whether it'll affect him, but certainly the turf at Hofstra is much better. If we take a look here, we were talking about the footing. I think the synthetic turf is a little more sure-footedness for a runner like Todd Jamison, but this guy can move anywhere.
Back to the live action. Jamison complete upfield at the 48-yard line. And it'll be Ron Scorzelli making the stop.
Perfect timing on that play, Barry. The receiver did a tremendous job of just curling into the open area there, and Jamison hit him right on the break.
And that receiver, the guy we've been talking about earlier, Mike Cleary, he runs great patterns. The transfer student from Franklin and Marshall out of St. Jim High School. So St. John's moving the football. It sets up a 2nd down situation, 2nd and 4 from the 49-yard line. Again, they have that slot left formation with Cleary lined up at the top of the picture. Pitch back to Blygen, looking for a hole, and Hofstra's going to wrap him up. Excellent defensive play by Mike Borges, their leading tackler, number 61, the 215-pound junior from Lynbrook.
There was a case of good penetration by the defensive end. He come in there and forced the play deep. Didn't give the ball carrier a chance to make the break at the line of scrimmage. When the ball carrier can make that break at the line of scrimmage, that's when he's got yardage.
He's very quick, that Borges. We saw him in the Iona game eat up their defensive offensive team. A starter for 2 years at Nassau Community College. Big 3rd down play coming up here, and Jamison to throw. Has time to run. Looking to the sideline. Looks like he has the first down on the far side before he's shoved out by Jeff Tepper, the 5'10", 210-pound senior.
It's going to be very close there if we're looking at the other side.
Well, it may be 4th down. Yep, it is, as the officials show it. And first critical decision for Bob Ricker here. You have so much confidence in your offense that scored 35 points a game. What are you going to do here?
Well, I have a feeling he's going to go for it.
That's my feeling, too. That he's beyond the 50-yard line, and he's going to go right here.
Well, Bob Rick is a gambler. He feels that you're going to have to stop his offense, and right now they are talking things over as the officials mark the ball on the far side of the field. Hope you're enjoying the action here on the Long Island Sports Network. Barry Landers, along with Emerson Boozer, Walt Michaels, and Carl Reuter from Redmond Field. And we've got a lot of exciting high school football still coming up your way. We've got John Glenn and Belport. That'll be next week. Then the Suffolk County Soccer Championships, followed by the Long Island Soccer Championships. You can see how close it is right there. It's about a half a yard, wouldn't you say, Walt?
Just, well, maybe not quite that much. I think Jameson could probably fall that far. But it just...
Here's Bob Ricker.
Looks like that all-dependable fullback Casa to get the ball in this situation.
All right. Close set of the backfield, double tight end. So they're looking for the blocking help here. Cleary lined up as a wing to the right. And movement in the line. First flag goes down. And it looks like it may be against Hofstra. We'll wait and see. The Hofstra player may have moved offside. We'll wait for the official call down there. And it looks like the Hofstra players are indicating it's against them. It will be offside against the Hofstra team, so St. John's gets a big first down on fourth down there.
Little overanxious to center of the Hofstra defense.
Now the electric company, led by Harry Royal, their defensive coordinator, has bent this year, but they haven't been broken.
You can see the left defensive tackle. It looks like Jolinski there.
Yeah, I think it is Jolinski, number 99, down inside over the left guard.
So it sets up first and 10, and the football at the 43-yard line. Casa and Blanchard remain in the backfield. They've got a slot right formation to the near side, and Jameson rolling to that side, pitches back to Blanchard. He's at the 40. The 35 down at the 33-yard line. Coming up to make the stop from the secondary, Ron Scorselli.
Handle both people.
Second and 1, draw play to the fullback, and Casa has more than enough for the first down inside the 30, down to the 26. Tony Mateo, the strong safety, came up to make the stop. But St. John's moving the football after taking over from the 20-yard line. They've moved to the 25 of Hofstra.
Good blocking by the center of the St. John's line. Center, Palladino, two guards. Great job of that.
Gabriello and Mulville doing the job on the guard spot. And now they send out two wide receivers to the left side. They've got Tommy Sadler and Mike Cleary in the left side. And Jameson, a little problem in the backfield, so he's going to decide to keep it. And he makes a nice gain off of broken play. He's down inside the 20 to around the 17. Brian McCarthy, the linebacker, number 24 out of Comstock High School in Port Jefferson, made the stop. Jameson has carried 3 times for 19 yards.
It's hard to tell whether he was going to fake that ball to the fullback or whether he was going in the wrong direction. But the fullback bump helped Jameson get back to where he belongs. And, of course, he made a good play out of a busted play.
Second and 2 from the 17-yard line. Cleary winds up wide to the left at the top of the picture. A work out of the eye here. Jameson looking over the line of scrimmage. 5:48 to go in this first quarter. Casa gets the call and looks like he has the first down as he gets inside the 15. Let's go to the sidelines and Carl Reuter.
In here, they stiffened up, and of course, it was great pass rush that time. They come off stunning lineman with 2 inside linebackers once again.
It'll be a 27-yard field goal. Ball will be kicked from the 17. Cleary is the holder. Ragusa with the ball in the air. The kick is up, and the kick is going to be good. So it is 7-3 as St. John's gets on the board, taking the ball from their own 20, marching to around the 10. And then that Hofstra defense, which we talked about earlier, giving up yardage but not letting you get into the end zone for 6 points, again comes up with a big play when they had to.
Yes, but I think as we watch that St. John's offense move the football, Barry, I think that ball, but I don't know whether you want to get that ball to McKenna. He's quite a runner back there, so it looked like the ball maybe slipped off his foot, it fell off the tee, the wind blowing.
Well, McKenna has averaged 5.5 yards a carry this year, has 4 touchdowns, averaging 101 yards a game. He was a leading rusher last year out of New Jersey, Woodbury Heights, New Jersey, a 5'10", 200-pound senior. And he gets his number called, but an excellent play by the St. John's defensive line. Jeff DeSimone, that very quick nose guard, number 59, breaking up the play before it could get on track.
That was a good job because it looked like they had a stunt in there off their 5'2", 3-man front.
You'll see number 59, DeSimone, come in. He comes in low, subs somewhat, but finds the ball carrier instantly.
Second and 10 from the 31. No gain on that last play. Bogomuth to the left. Now Mady lines up as a right end. Outstanding speed for tight end Steve Mady. In motion is Veneziano. McKenna gets the handoff, and McKenna gets to the 35. Pickup of around 3. Stopped by Bob Oswald, number 61 out of West Hempstead, the defensive end, 5'11", 195-pound sophomore. Well, Bob McKenna, as we mentioned, is averaging over 100 yards a game this season. And Walt, there are things that you like about him. He's really a halfback in fullback's clothing, isn't he?
Halfback, fullback. He's short. He's built close to the ground. Of course, he gets a lot of leg drive going up in there. Gets extra yardage. And he's the kind of back that looks like he's got very quick feet. Not what you'd call exceptional straightaway speed, but quick feet, and can carry his tackler.
Passing situation for Cadella, but he's going to keep it on the ground. And McKenna stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Mike Perone, the big play defensive end out of St. Michael's High School in the Bronx, number 57. Super pass rusher. He has 42 tackles this year, and it sets up a 4th and 7 from the 35.
That was great defense by the entire left side of the St. John's line. They just collapsed that Hofstra offense there. No one moved anywhere.
Barry Cavanaro in to do the punting. He's back at around the 20-yard line. Billy Semillo is the deep man, and he'll watch the ball go toward the goal line and roll in. So it looked like it might be dying at around the 2-yard line. But
there's a case of the entire defense getting around the football. When you get around the football, if anything happens to the ball, you have a chance of one of your people coming up with the ball. That was a case of Jamison not quite putting it away. He was still faking the option play here. As you see, he put it away for himself. Probably should have given that ball to Casa that time. Casa looked like he had the play. He didn't quite put it away to his stomach after he faked off to Casa. The result, he lost control of the football.
Cadella calling signals here on 1st and 10. Hofstra leading 7-3, 1:20 to go in the first quarter. And coming around the near side is Veneziano. And little scat back out of Patchogue Medford High School. Only a 155-pounder is stopped after a short gain. Just want to remind you that here's the address you can send your Hall of Fame guests to. Cablevision, 3 Media Crossways, Woodbury, New York, 11797, and you'll win a fine Long Island Sports Network T-shirt. 2nd and 9 from the 38 coming up here after the 1-yard gain by Veneziano. What a spot Veneziano is in. He's carried only 3 times coming into the biggest game either school has played, and he's right in the firing line here, replacing Mike Mullen.
He just has to look at this, Barry, as an opportunity to excel and come up with a big play with Mullen being gone.
Single running back and a handoff going to Viola, and he gets a couple of yards to the 35. That misdirection. One of the problems M had last year, Hofstra, or rather St. John's had last year, was they took that early bite on that misdirection and were burned. It seems like they're handling it a lot better today.
The wing-back reversing in, you can bet that they've been drilled by Coach Ricker all week long that this is one play that will not be burned by because it hurt them badly last year.
3rd and 6 from the 35. Clock showing just 13 seconds to go. They should be able to get this play off. Wolgamuth to the right, Mackey to the left. Pro set in the backfield, and now the officials with 5 seconds to go have called a timeout, and it looks like that is going to be the end of the first quarter. So they're keeping the official time down there. That's the end of the first quarter from Redmond Field with a score. Hofstra 7, St. John's 3. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network. Redmond Field, where Hofstra's leading St. John's by a score of 7-3. 3rd and 6 for the Flying Dutchman at the 35. As Cadella works out of the I formation here. He's got Mackey to the right, rolling to the near side. Cadella on the option, pitches back to Veneziano. Oh, and he's in trouble. Taken down by number 37, Billy Semillo, the free safety out of North Rockland High School, who has had another great year. Made the play easily.
There's a case of the option played very well by the St. John's defense. We've got one man taking the quarterback, forcing him to pitch out. Stutters well. Here comes the remainder of the inside defense pursuing. Veneziano tries to get his footing there. Can't get it. Defense had him swarmed in.
Well, that's Semillo, a very sure tackler. He led the team in tackles last year. It had to be used less often this year. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Cadella rolling to the left. He's got a blocker out there. He's going to try to keep it. Going to the side, has the first down.
Great job by the quarterback. He knew exactly where the sticks were and took for the sideline.
And good block there by Green, number 60. He was out there leading the way, and Cadella, who's a good runner, followed him well.
Number 60, Green, is basically that sweep guy. He's a guy that's got good feet. He can move the body, gets out here, gets around the corner. And Cadella just finds that yardstick. Once he brings it in here,
came behind him again.
Yeah, those are both their down guards, Bobby Keys and Jim Green, and they get out and they run.
1st and 10 from the 27, and it looks like we have time taken right here. Official timeout. Looks like Nellen, the strong safety for St. John's, is going to leave the ball game, and he's going to... High double reverse, and getting the football, having trouble. Oh, what a job. Veneziano getting his bell rung by Mike Perron, number 57, that youngster we talked about just a couple of moments ago.
Great inside penetration to stop that play. Those are the kind of things you have to do against a wing T. The inside defensive linebackers have to stunt, move inside, getting the penetration. When the ball is handoff, they're just about there at a time when the ball is being exchanged. Of course, you're running risk of fumbles, and Hofstra's going to have to be very careful on handling that football like that.
2nd and 12. Cadello looking to throw, looking down the side, and incomplete. Looking for Steve Beatty. A flag is thrown on Billy Samillo, number 37. And it'll be 1st and 10 on the pass interference penalty against Steve Beatty. And you remember last year's game, Beatty burned him for about a 40-yard touchdown on a similar play, a slanting pattern going from left to right.
It was a deep pattern involving Blygen, I think, sometimes last year. Maybe ended up getting hurt, I believe.
There was a case of just feet getting tied up. I know it was not an intentional interference there, but it's the kind of things that happen. As you could see, they're both running stride for stride. They get their feet tied up just at the wrong moment.
3rd first down for Hofstra. They're outside the 10 at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10. Pecorella lines up as a tight end to the left side. In motion is Mike Viola. McKenna gets the call. McKenna to around the 6-yard line, maybe the 7, where he was stopped. Billy Samillo coming up from the secondary to make the hit. And it'll set up 2nd down, and let's call it 2nd and 6. So far, McKenna has gained 27 yards and 7 carries, just about 4 yards a pop. And he's been averaging 5.5 yards a carry coming into this game.
Carry. I look for him to give the ball to McKenna again.
Now they work out of the eye this time. McKenna, now they shift with Viola in a pro set along with McKenna. Cadella rolling to his left, looking toward the end zone. He's going to have to keep. He's at the 5 and is slammed at around the 3 as he was knocked out of bounds. Blygen, who is now in on defense, helping out of that play, number 49. And they'll stop the play close to the first down. I believe it'll be short of the first down by about a yard.
Well, there was a case going to the pro set. He did a semi-fake to McKenna going through the line, kept the ball, got some good blocking. Here was a case he had to go for the end zone. It's a case of you better be valiant right here, because here come those defenders ready to hit him. He didn't want to go out of bounds. He tried for the touchdown. Just didn't quite have enough beef to get in there the extra 2-3 yards.
3rd and 1 from the 3-yard line. Look for McKenna to get the call here. And the handoff goes to McKenna. He looks like he has the first down at around the 1.5-yard line. Wait till they unpile. But McKenna going off the right side of the line behind Bobby Keys and Paul Malata. May have picked up the first down. John Rosillo was over there, and it'll be 1st and goal. And it looks like that's the way it's going to be right here, is they're going to mark the ball at around the 1.5-yard line.
Well, it looked like all ball carrier that time. He hit into the line very hard and got everything possible in there.
Maybe I'm wrong. I am wrong on the play, so a little premature on my part, as it is short by just about 3 or 4 inches.
It's a long way off first, Barry, and we don't have the angle on that play.
You got the good peepers. All right. So it is 4th and inches, and Hofstra is going to go for it here. Mickey Kwiatkowski on the sideline. Former star in Delaware, an offensive lineman. Came to Hofstra 3 years ago. Has built a great program.
Here's where we get a chance to second-guess whether he should have gone for the field goal or not.
You've been in that position before.
Many times.
McKenna to the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown. Off the left side of the line behind Jimmy Green, number 60.
Very definitely. Mickey did the right thing that time.
And how about Walt's decision right there?
I like that. We all agreed on that.
For a moment there, you know, thinking of a punt.
I thought maybe he touched the ball for one moment there, Barry.
Yeah, so it'll be brought back, and a 5-yard penalty walked off against Hofstra. But that was a scary moment for Pat Skiri. He had a little bit of indecision whether he was going to take the ball and let it bounce. And, of course, it can bounce off of you. You never know what's going to happen.
That's right. If it had touched him at all, why, the ball would have been there on the 3-yard line. Of course, it would have been the wrong decision. Thus far, Hofstra's been making those correct decisions, and it's been going well for them.
So the kick from the 35 by Campanaro. Over 4,200 people, the official attendance so far. We've been handed that number, and a lot of people standing on the far side as well. Cavanero to do the kicking here. Hofstra leading by a score of 14-3. You can see the effect of the wind on that kick by Cavanero, and it may bounce out of bounds. It's taken, however, by Skiri at the 20 to the 23-yard line before he's down by the Hofstra defense, and Redmond will put it in play 1st and 10 as they trail by 11 points. Do you think we'll see anything different, Emerson Boozer, on the part of St. John's offense at this point?
No, St. John's has not been stalled as of yet. They choked a little bit down near the inside.
15-3, they've taken advantage of a fumble and a pass interception to score their touchdowns. Cadella, double fake on the reverse, and this is Veneziano. Ebanks takes him down. Good one-on-one play by Winston Ebanks, the quarterback, as Veneziano looks like he's having trouble with his footing. He slipped a couple of times today.
Yes, he has. He's come around there, but of course that defensive back stayed right at home. They seemed like they had everybody fooled for St. John, but the cornerback stayed at home, picked him up.
I was expecting Venezia to fake this thing sometimes earlier because they had gotten caught in the backfield. This time he was able to get outside, but it didn't fool the Redmen there. They're still waiting to make the big hit.
Good picture tackle, breaking down around the ball, making a good solid hit.
2nd and 8 to the 29 out of the pro set. In motion is Viola. The handoff to Viola has got some blocking behind. Green cuts back and has the first down, still on his feet. What a run by Mike Viola, the 5'9", 185-pound junior out of Hopford, who was a non-entity a couple of years ago. However, there is a flag on the play. Nice run that time by Mr. Viola.
I never could understand why that yellow flag drops after a big play.
It looks like it's going to be a clip, but Walt, when you were coaching the Jets, those were those kind of penalties, clipping and holding, those were the bane of your offensive line, weren't they?
They certainly were, and I wondered why they always happened after a good play. I never could find all that in the film, but sometimes it appears as though people do that, and that's the reason the play has gotten big yardage.
So St. John's hurt by a penalty a few moments ago, and this time Hofstra will be hurt by this one as they'll walk it off inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. There will be long distance for the Hofstra Flying Dutchman. Nice set up 2nd down.
Appeared like he gave a second for a crack back kind of a block below the waist.
So far, I'm impressed with both defenses. Both are very active, both clubs.
2nd and 20 from the 18. Cadella rolling to the left. Throwing a little pass, and it's incomplete. Up and around the 35-yard line, looking for Bobby McKenna. Chuck Veneziano was also over there, and defending on the play was Bobby Nealon, number 17.
Quarterback got just a little bit too far outside there, and he couldn't quite get the ball back. He was throwing on a run. He was rushed there by St. John's defensive lineman. He could not just stop and get the ball back to McKenna, who was wide open. Maybe would have gotten some yardage back on that play.
Cadella 0 for 2 in the passing department. He came in with 36.7 percentage, 9 touchdowns. The big story there. He only completed 40 of 109, but he's been a big play man all year for Hofstra. On 3rd and 20. Viola and McKenna, the running backs. Cadella has time up the sideline and complete to Steve Beatty, and it's close to a first down up and around the 38-yard line. Billy Samillo ran him out of bounds.
No.
However, they're going to rule it incomplete. The Hofstra fans can't believe it. St. John's is loving that call over there. Emerson, you disagree?
I disagree with him totally. Beatty was clearly inside about a good foot inside the marker there. And why that's called, I really don't know. That's a home call.
How about you, Walt?
Well, it was in front of the St. John's bench. We had a lot of officials with red shirts on.
Billy Savillo is back to take the kick here. It's 4th and 20 from the 18, so Cadella throwing a nice pass there. Beatty making a fine catch, but it's ruled incomplete. Of course, in college, you have to have just one. As they'll put it in play, 1st and 10. In motion, Viola, handoff to McKenna, and the St. John's Redmond defensive line stops him, maybe a half-yard gain. Ed Harkins and Jeff DeSimone combining as they unpile there with 5:45 to go. And a very important defensive stand here for St. John's. They've been stymied. Their offense twice has gotten the ball in good field position and have come up with just 3 points. And if they can hold them here, they're going to get the ball in good field position.
They certainly should. And with that wind blowing, a possible rush on the punter could really get them a big play right in here and get them right back into the ball game quickly.
Let's call it 2nd and 10 from the 3. Cadella handing off to Veneziano, trying to cut back. Gets across the 5 to around the 7 for Tony Baruso. Number 7 and number 50 stopped him. Tony, a young man out of Howard Beach in Queens, Christ the King High School, calls the defensive signals, a very tough, aggressive leader, and one of their leading tacklers. It'll be 3rd and 6 from the 7.
It looked like he lost his footing once again. Maybe Veneziano is a little too used to that AstroTurf because he has slipped 3-4 times already, Barry, and wondering if that could be a factor out there for him.
Mackey lines up wide to the left, and Cadella handing off to Viola, but however, flags go down. Maybe a delay of game, as Hofstra took quite a while getting that play on track. 4:44 to go in the first half. I'd like you to stay tuned. Carl Reuter has some interesting halftime guests from Hofstra and St. John's, and the Comac South High School Band will be performing. They'll mark it half the distance to the goal line. There you can see the call. Procedure call. And they'll mark the ball at around, I would say, the 3.5-yard line here, and they'll set up 3rd, and let's call it around 10.
You think those guys were fair then? The ball was about at the 8-yard line.
Well, I've moved it back to the 4, so half the distance. That's about right. Yeah.
You have to watch these guys. They start moving that ball around like that.
Let's see if Cadella is going to go airways here. He hasn't done it very often. This is Viola in trouble, and he fumbles the football. St. John's has recovered. Mike Perrone, the big play guy we told you about him earlier, who's their number 3 tackler, has blocked a field goal last week, went 60 yards for a touchdown against St. Peter's, comes up with a big play right here off the fumble.
There's what I feel is a dangerous play backed up. When you begin to hand that ball around with reverses and misdirections at the goal line, you run just this risk. He barely got out of the end zone, of course, struggling for the extra yardage. They ripped the ball free from his arms, and it was a big play for St. John's.
Let's see if they can cash in. 4:30 to go in the first half. St. John's trailing 14-3. They work out of the shotgun here. This is a formation they've used a couple of times last year, and they like that single wing play too. Jamison inside the 5 to around the 4. We have time taken right here. It'll be timeout taken by St. John's. So we have timeout taken on the field, and Walt completed any passes. He's 0 for 3, but his team is leading 14-3 in this game. Neither quarterback has had much success with the wind here today. Mackey in motion. McKenna again gets his number called. Off the left side, pushes forward across the 40 to around the 42. Tony Baruso, number 50, in on the stop. And the clock ticking away. We're down to 1:34 to go. McKenna has carried 12 times for 69 yards. His high game this year, 158 yards. And he got that against Albany State this year. Ran for 78 yards in that game on one play. Cadella on 2nd down. Looking to the sideline. His receiver, Wogelmo, slipped a little bit. He was defended by Bobby Nellen, and it's an incomplete pass setting up 3rd down.
Makes me wonder why he set back there to throw that ball, rolled out this way. McKenna been doing well. Maybe he wanted to rest him a little bit, and he doesn't trust his other running backs.
I'm sure Cadella really doesn't want to throw this one again. As you watch number 70, Rosillo comes in and just plants that helmet right into his numbers.
Heavy hitting going on by both teams down there. Rosillo, youngster out of Holy Cross High School in Whitestone, Queens, and with 1:10 to like 154-13. But so far today, they have not been able to score any points here.
Of course, a big factor. They're also with the wind, and I was hoping to see a little more from the offense.
All right, this is McKenna, who has been the story so far, has the first down. Stopped at the 48 by Bobby Nellen. Strong safety. And there's a look at Bobby McKenna.
There was that little crack you're talking about, Emerson.
Yes, and you'll see
guard pulled out, kicked the outside man out, tackle blocked down, and he had just what he needed.
Absolutely. McKenna was probably watching the hips of Bob McKees as he moved over to get that block. And
to Hofstra get into a playoff and be a home team. We'll probably have some exciting news about that as far as our televising. Chasing him is Perron, but he drops it deep downfield, and out of the hands of the receiver. I think it was number 32, Mike Viola. He had touchdown right there. So both teams having a little trouble with the dropsies. Viola had fumbled earlier, remember, and he had that one and couldn't hold on.
Well, there was balancing off those interceptions, those receptions, I should say, for touchdowns right there.
Well thrown ball.
Looks like a mix-up in a defensive coverage there.
They were not expecting their wingback Viola to run that kind of pattern, and he was open. An interesting call on first down.
I can see them pulling up Wogamote to Maddie or something like that, and letting Viola get down deep on it.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 48. Mackey to the right in motion. Goes Viola. Cadello with time, dropping it off for Mackey. Incomplete. Defended on the play by number 38, or check it, number 36, Mitch Barnett, the sophomore out of Bayside. Interesting story about Jerry Mackey. He's the kind of kid that Mickey Kwiatkowski loves. Very unselfish kid. He's playing behind a great receiver named Wogamuth. He's out of Clark High School, lives in Roosevelt. And he's the nephew of John Mackey. You remember John Mackey, Emerson Boozer, don't you?
That'll be one of the all-time greats of the tight end slot.
Played for the Baltimore Colts for many years. Walt, you coached against a guy like John Mackey.
Certainly did, and he was a threat at all times. You know, it's amazing, unusual when you put that double on the tight end. There are very few that you have to do that, but he was one of them.
Flags go down. They'll stop the play here as Cadello is going back to pass. Clock shows 36 seconds. And the officials have had good control of this game. Making the call, a legal procedure call against the Flying Dutchman. And they'll move the ball back to the 43, where it'll set up 3rd and 15 from that point. One thing you don't want to do here, if you're Hofstra, is to give the ball back to St. John's on an interception on a short pass, because with time remaining, 36 seconds, you're certainly within striking distance for a Todd Jamison.
Right now, any type of turnover would definitely be a great field position for St. John's. You'd have to be careful right here.
Yeah, are you surprised, though, that they are putting the ball in the air based on Cadella's relative inconsistency as a passer this year, only 36%?
Yes, I am, but it shows that Coach Kwiatkowski doesn't care about whether he moves the ball on the ground or in the air, or even try to play ball control. He wants to win the football game, so he'll throw it, run it any way he can.
Cadella going to throw again. Looking deep down the side. He's got Steve Mady there. And Samillo, I think, got a hand on it just as Mady was looking back to get recognition of the ball. Fine defensive play, and if that ball had been thrown just a little bit more, Mady would have been off to the races.
It looks like he just didn't have time to set his feet there, and of course he's a right-hander rolling out to his left. Emerson, it seemed like before he set, he just couldn't get the ball deep enough.
I think you're correct, and that is posing a problem, rolling off to your left. You've got to be able to stop and set up to get the ball back to the inside. Maybe look for it over his right shoulder, then he notices it was coming over his left shoulder. Whether anybody tipped it, it's difficult to say.
All right, 51-yard average so far for Cavanero. Samillo up to take the kick. He'll take it at the 25, still on his feet as he crosses the 30. Samillo had a 55-yard punt return last week. That's the only one in St. John's modern football history. And with 13 seconds to go, St. John's will get the football back here. 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line as this first half is winding down. Now we'll see if Flygen and Jamison and company.
Timeout. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
Abel Wogaruth, Ryan lines up wide to the left. Wogaruth out of the pro set in the backfield. They've got a wing to the right side. It's Viola. Louisiana now in motion, so they've got a single setback. Cadella handing off to McKenna, and McKenna not going to go anywhere. In fact, he's taken down for about a yard loss by Ed Harkins, the youngster out of Comac South, 6'1", 230. He's the fastest lineman, a 4-year starter, and it sets up 2nd and 11 on the 19.
Well, Harkins is sort of their leader also. If you recall, before the game, he was leading this entire St. John's team. Well, right there is indicative of what that kid can do.
He's in great physical condition. He's been playing more consistent this year, playing up to the potential that his club thought he had last year. On 2nd and 11, Wogamuth, the flank line to the left.
They're definitely in a wing to your line. Of course, they go in motion. Now taken out of it.
That's Viola in motion. And again, McKenna gets the call. Nothing doing again. That very tough St. John's defense, which has done an outstanding job making the stop that time. John Rosillo and Bobby Oswald, number 70 at 61. No gain on the second consecutive play. Everson sets up 3rd and 11. What do you think we might have here?
We're going to see them throw. I wouldn't be surprised if Cabela doesn't roll back to his left by the good defense is done just before halftime. And they have people open, so
here in this passing situation. Viola back in motion. Cadella rolling to that side. Now in trouble, trying to get away from Rosillo. Throws it, and it's going to be incomplete. Nearly intercepted on the far side by number 17, Bobby Nellen. Mackey was the intended receiver, number 1, and Bobby Nellen out of Comstock High School thought he had it.
There was a very good case of offensive defense. Mackey did a good job stripping that defensive man of the football there. Otherwise, St. John's got the big turnover break they use in this football game to get back into it. Right here, you'll see Mackey pulling the ball away from that defender.
Hofstra 1 for 9 on 3rd down conversion. Samillo back at his own 40-yard line to get the kick. They're kicking into the wind, remember. His punts have been averaging around 40 yards, 45 yards a kick. This one about shy of midfield, and Hofstra downs it there. St. John's will get excellent field position up and around the 46-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10.
Well, you might take note, too. Starting the opening portion of the ball game, St. John's had the wind at his face and was not able to get out and down there by the interception. Now Hofstra has punted and given St. John's pretty decent field position to start the second half.
Well, Jamison had a very poor first half. He had an opportunity to catch a pass and go in for a possible touchdown. He fumbled a snap, looked like on a key 4th down at the 5-yard line. He had a pass interception. And let's see what he could do here to turn things around as St. John's takes over 1st and 10 at the Hofstra 46. Casa and Blygen as they work out of the eye. Hand off to the tailback Blygen, and he busts for a couple of tough yards to the 41-yard line before Chuck Chowinski, and we've been mentioning him all day, helps out on the play along with Jeff Tepper, the linebacker, and it'll set up 2nd and 5 for 41, a 5-yard pickup that time. However, we have an injured player down on the field for Hofstra, and we'll try to pick it up.
Chowinski had to pull him down there, but I think Blygen ran.
Touchdowns all year. 2 rushing. Jamison trying to push it in, and he scores. So St. John's is on the board. It's 14-9 as Jamison pushes over on the 1-yard quarterback sneak.
Good job with the right side of that St. John's offensive line. They just moved them back into the end zone. Of course, Jamison had no problem going in. One big play, throw to the wide receiver Clary, and of course the playing of Jamison running with the ball. Busted play, making yardage, keeping the football. Of course, right here, Hofstra making mistakes.
And a good example of what Michaels was talking about, Coach Michaels was talking about, 66 and 71. Of course,
14-3. Moments ago, you saw the touchdown by Todd Jamison to make it 14-10. Cadella handing off to Veneziano, and he's had trouble getting on track all day. His footing has been a problem. What a difference in not having Mike Mullins in there.
It certainly is, and of course, McKenna's been blocking well in there, but right now it looks like we've got a fired-up St. John's defense. That's the important.
All right, well, let's go down to the field to Carl Reuter.
Barry, I was just walking behind the St. John's bench, and of course, during the course...
There you can see 3rd down conversions. Each team has had problems. In motion, Veneziano. Cadella handing off to McKenna. And McKenna stopped by the Redmond defense. Winston Ebanks and Billy Samillo coming up quickly along with Bobby Nellen. And they stopped Hofstra once again. So it's going to be St. John's getting the football back.
Well, it looked like it was a pretty good runner by McKenna. He just had too much. If that 2nd down play was the 1st down play rather than a loss, why, they had a good thing going there.
4th and 4 from 31, Walt. As Samillo will be back to take the punt here. Cavanero has done a great job kicking today, but he's kicking into the wind here. Has plenty of time. Ball hanging up in the wind. Takes a bounce for Hofstra inside the 40 down to the 31-yard line where it'll be blown dead. And St. John's trailing 14-10 will put it in play there.
That fortunate bounce added another 12 yards to the punter's average there. Very good Hofstra.
38-yard kick. St. John's takes over on their own 31-yard line. They scored on their last possession. Todd Jamison hitting Tommy Sadler with a big pass to set up the touchdown run by Jamison. And here they come. Esposito to the left, and Cleary to the right. Pro set of the backfield. Jamison rolling behind Blygen, dropping it off, tipped in the air by Ron Scorselli. Incomplete. Ronnie Scorselli got a piece of the ball as they were looking downfield for Cleary, number 89. That's why. But I'm going to tell you, Walt, that defense of Hofstra, that secondary, has done an outstanding job. And they quick.
They certainly are doing a fine job. And, of course, there was a very lucky break for Hofstra. Someone tipped the ball because it looked like the official was about to drop a flag there and very legitimately would have dropped it, except the ball was tipped. The defender did play the receiver very well at that time.
Yeah, it looked like that Mr. Feldman was the man that might have been called for the penalty.
I thought it would be a flag there, as Coach Michaels pointed out. Somebody tipped the ball prior to the flag, and I think it saved it.
Big wide, a lot of stunning going on. No flag as the handoff going to Blygen. Tries to slip a tackle, gets up to the 37-yard line before he stopped as they unpile.
Great running there, coming back behind his blockers. Of course, that offensive line stayed with their blocks really well that time, Everson. He cut behind them and did a good job. Picked up 7-8 yards on that play.
Nice comeback. There's Mulville and Asada and Caparillo, Palladino. They all got into the blocks, held it long enough for Blygen to cut back inside. Strong running.
3rd and 4 from the 37. Blygen has gained 45 yards and 11 carries. A lot of movement by the Hofstra line. And they have stopped him short of the first down as Chuck Chowinski got in there quickly. Jamison tried to do it himself, and this time he was stopped. What a game Chuck Chowinski has had. He's a wrestler. He was the defensive MVP last year, a 3-year starter, and they call him a mean sucker.
Yes, he is, and he's been making a lot of tackles today. We've been calling his name a lot. Of course, that was a good call by Jamison. He saw that the Hofstra people were going to stunt inside. If he'd have broken that one time there, Emerson, I think he'd have been down to the goal line because one man pulled him down, very fortunately.
All right, Carl Wenz in to do the punting. He's averaging 38.5 yards a kick, his longest 52. And they've got double safety Spellman and Mateo back to get the kick. Wenz with plenty of time. Takes plenty of time. Not a good kick going into with the wind at his back. It's taken there by Feldman. Feldman across the 35, still on his feet, up the sideline. Timmy Feldman down the sideline. He may go. The man who intercepted the pass earlier to get up the first touchdown, Timmy Feldman, the 5'10", 165-pound youngster from Scarsdale, and what a play. And no flags, Walt Michaels.
How can you say so more about this fellow, Tim Feldman? In all the newspaper reports, he said he was going to do it. He is a very confident player. He's kind of a kid that is a leader for the Hofstra team. And there he showed it. First play of the game, and right now he picks up the ball and goes with a punt return for a touchdown.
70-yarder, Emerson Boozer.
What I don't understand here, St. John's was kicking the ball seemingly out of bounds. I don't think his down lineman knew where the ball was going to be. If it's pre-planned, the ball is going out of bounds, you're right. You want to make sure that everybody is there. But the Images picks it up and finds nobody in front, gets 2 key blocks, and he's gone.
Casa was level. The last minute could have got him. Cabanero's kick in the air, and it is 21-10. Hofstra striking with their defense and their specialty teams. And Timmy Feldman is having 2 weeks in his life that he's going to remember.
He certainly will. That's a dynamite 165-pounder playing in that secondary.
Brian McCarthy made that block. Let's keep an eye on 24 as he stops Casa up the sideline. Let's watch it again, Feldman. He gets a block there from Forges, 61. Keep an eye on 24 McCarthy, I guess here. Casa's chasing him. Boom.
It initially looked as though some of the St. John's linemen had overrun the ball. They were planning on a longer kick. And some of them, as Emerson pointed out, didn't know exactly where the punt was going, and they overran the ball. Feldman picked it up at the right time, and of course he scooted down a sideline with just 2 blocks.
Last week, Timmy Feldman intercepted a pass, went 45 yards for a touchdown with 3 minutes to go to break a scoreless tie at Fordham. And today, after intercepting a pass to set up a touchdown, he goes 70 yards on a punt return. That's the first punt return for a touchdown this year for Hofstra. 21-10, 7:29 to go. Well, we've got a lot of fireworks left, I'm sure, here. As Cabanero sends a beautiful kick back deep in the end zone, and it'll be taken by Skiri. He's at the 20, still on his feet, piles ahead to the 25. Good return by Skiri. And it'll be 1st and 10 for St. John's as the sophomore from Howard Beach returns to 27 yards. It'll be at the 26-yard line. They mark it. As St. John's scored on its last possession, let's see what Jamison and company can do right here. as the Hofstra defense will try to hold her. Sam Hargrove, speedster out of Nassau Community College. Jamison rolling right behind Casa and Blygen, trying to cut back and stopped again by number 99, this time Chuck Chowinski. So it sets up a 4th down situation. However, there is a flag on the play, and let's hold it right here. They want another football. They're motioning to the sideline for another field, and it looks like it's going to go against Hofstra. Let's take another look on the replay, see if we can spot the penalty.
Hofstra was stunning here, and it was very possible when those inside men got a little over anxious again. There they are.
That looks like Chowinski.
Chowinski looks like he stayed offside as he lined up.
So that will set up a 1st and goal situation. Don't check it. It'll be 3rd down here. 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. And the most important play of the game for the Redmen as Jamison brings him to the line of scrimmage. Cleary wide to the right. Esposito wide to left. Conversions on 3rd down. St. John's 1 for 8. Jamison going to keep it and go right into the end zone. So St. John's is on the board right here to make it 21. Oh, I guess the clock is wrong here. They haven't changed sides yet. Oh, apparently they did. So apparently we're in the 4th quarter.
There was a change exactly as the kickoff came on.
All right, guys. We'll get it together. Here is Rich Cadella calling signals for Hofstra. And a handoff to McKenna. McKenna to the 35. About a 3-yard pickup that fired up St. John's defense. Harkins and DeSimone combining to make the play. It'll be a 3-yard pickup. 2nd and 7 for the 35.
I believe there's a case where Cadella is going to have to start putting that ball in the air a little bit. The St. John's defense has been zeroing in on that running attack, and especially on McKenna. And, of course, they've stopped him here in the 2nd half.
Cadella, who's done a good job, not fumbled the football, has not had a good passing day. Handing off inside to to McKenna, rather. McKenna, who has been the bread and butter guy with Mike Mullins out with mono. Gets it closer to the 1st down, but it's still going to be around 3rd and 5 right here. As the ball up and around the 37, Jeff DeSimone again on the play. Well, St. John's has done a good job. 3rd down conversion so far. Hofstra just 1 for 10, and a mighty big 3rd down here for the Flying Dutchman ball.
Yes, it is, and of course now we're going to have to see if Cadella wants to put one in the air, if he once again maybe has confidence in that running attack, and McKenna.
I think he'll throw it right. He'll brought in 2 of his quicker receivers.
Now in motion, Veneziano. Cadella handing off. They've got a wall on that side. Veneziano fighting, but not going to get anywhere. He's just simply not big enough. Veneziano stopped by Billy Samillo, among others. And St. John's will get the football back here. And again, you don't want to belabor the point, but the difference of not having Mike Mullins in that backfield is a big story today.
It certainly is. It looks like Hofstra is using an offensive set here that they aren't very familiar with. And, of course, they were trying to get the big play with a reverse rather than putting the ball in the air. Of course, you can understand that if you want to keep the clock running over there and still trying to pick up the necessary yardage for the 1st down to maintain ball control.
Hofstra has punted 6 times for an average of 41.5 yards. Stu Honig reporting that and helping us out here in the booth. Token pressure put on. Cabanero gets it away. Samillo's going to let it bounce, and it will go out of bounds at around the 23 or 24-yard line. Where St. John's trailing 21-17. Will get the football back as we've played 2 minutes and 40 seconds, 2 minutes and 20 seconds rather, of the 4th quarter. 41-yard kick, no return for Barry Cabanero. And the Redmen, who scored twice here in the 2nd half, have it 1st and 10. Hofstra's offense has been pretty much non-existent here in the 2nd. From Scorselli across the 40 to the 43-yard line. This kid plays with a lot of recklessness at 165 pounds.
He certainly does, and sometimes you wonder how a 165-pound body can hold up, but I guess the recklessness is the thing that helps him.
Well, he's caused 3 fumbles. This year he's averaged 15 yards on his interceptions. That kick, a 37-yarder. It's 1st and 10. And Hofstra, if they ever want to maintain ball control, going to want to do it right here, Walt, with 11:29 to go here in the fourth quarter.
They'll have to get a few first downs if they want to win this football game.
And they need another touchdown. Viola in motion. This is Veneziano. This is the first time we've seen him try to go up the middle, and he gets a couple of yards up to the 45. Second and 8 from the 45. You know, Walt Jamison has been holding the football like a loaf of bread at times today.
Yes.
He's been lucky.
Yes, he's been very fortunate, of course, at conflict. There he was. Maybe he was pulling it back that time to throw a pass downfield. I don't know, but just at the right moment, the defender hit him.
Well, good job by Heffernan or Bergman. 54-64 in that play. McKenna sliding. Top yardage as he gets close to midfield. It'll set up third down. Stopped by Bobby Oswald and Tony Baruso. Baruso, quite a football player, Walt. 5'11", 190-pounder, the leading tackler.
Yes, he's their leading tackler, and we haven't mentioned him much here today, but he's been doing a good job, and we've been a little remiss. He's been moving around the field, doing a fine job.
They play that 5-2. Also, Dean Rivera, number 79, just a freshman. We haven't talked about him. But what a job he's done stepping right in here. Third down play on third downs. Hofstra 1 for 11. Third and about 4.5. This is Veneziano, knocked down in the backfield, and nothing going there.
I don't know, Emerson. There was a fellow by the name of Steve Tannen used to slip like that many years ago.
I do remember that. You're right about this. I don't know why Veneziano is slipping down, but he's has not had a good footing all day. We'll take a look here. See if we can find out. I know what it is. He's cutting off the inside foot when he's running to his right. You just can't do it. You got to take your time and plant with the right and then go upfield.
Fourth at 6 from the 38-yard line. St. John's will get the ball back here with Samillo. The lone man back. Cavanero kicks it high. Samillo fumbles the kick, and let's see who's got it. Redmen have recovered. Oh, Samillo, I believe, was able to recover his own fumble, but that could have been a real costly fumble if Hofstra had recovered. But the Redmen get it back here with 9:33 to go, trailing 21-17. It'll be first and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Looks like he...
He's looking that way now, in trouble, losing his footing almost, gets away, still drops it off now to Lynch, the tight end, and he's hammered as he gets about 3 yards. It'll set up a third down situation, hammered by Mike Borges. But again, that's footing. We talked about it, Walt. Em and I, you did the game. We did the game last year on Hofstra, which is great. AstroTurf for a speedy runner like him. He's having a little problem with his footing there, Walt.
Yes, he is, and I thought for a minute this was going to be a fast track, and of course then I thought maybe also hit the ground with the ball, so it was a combination here of...
Well, he got it off.
He did, and it, once again, it shows his athletic ability to make something out of nothing.
Third and 7 from the 47-yard line. Another key situation for the Redmen. Jamison drops it off up the middle, complete to Casa, has the first down. Excellent call down the sideline, still in bounds, and he's down at the 15 or 14-yard line. Nick Casa, an unsung hero, getting the little pass. Mateo and Feldman finally stopped him, and he stayed in bounds, and the Redmen fans go wild.
Yes, he was. There was a good job with Jamison, who was rolling to his left. Jamison was going that way, and then he cut back behind the grade. There's Casa. He's coming back against the grade. He started out to his left, came back to the right.
He blocked.
Designed play all the way.
He blocked right here by Cleary. Just stands inside, post on the defensive back, allowing Nick Cassidy to turn that corner and go on that field.
Look at Mateo catch him from behind. First and 10, Jamison rolling left. Look at the wall he's got there, looking. Has plenty of time, throwing in the end zone, and it's going to be complete for touchdown. Chris Esposito for the touchdown. And St. John's has taken the lead, 24-21 with 4:51 to go. And this place has gone crazy here at Redmen Field.
Very definitely a case of too much time to throw the football. The Hofstra defensive line put no pressure on Jamison, and they have a quarterback like him that can run all over where he's going to find an open receiver.
And this is what Hofstra likes, St. John likes to do.
Six carries in this second half, so they've shut him down after he gained 64 yards in the first half. Cadella, who's been a leader bringing Hofstra back all year long in the fourth quarter, with the big task right here. McKenna gets the call. McKenna nearly broke it as he got 5 yards or about 4. And he stopped right there by the Hofstra defense. Getting up, number 70, John Rosillo. Abel Wogemuth checks out of the game. Jerry Mackey checks in.
I don't think there is much time, even though McKenna's had a great day. There isn't much time to run your big fullback up the middle right now. I think he's going to have to make things happen. You make things happen by big plays. He's going to have to put that football in the air, Anderson, right now.
4:10 to go on 2nd down and 6. Viola and McKenna, the running backs. Cadella rolling to the right side behind Jimmy Green. Drops it off. It is going to be complete to Viola. Excellent catch on the far side. Check it. It was McKenna who made the catch. Bobby McKenna. Billy Samillo, the free safety, it was all over him. It was draped over his back. And McKenna catching his first pass of the year.
This is one of the leaders. One of the leaders here for St. John's here, Bill Samillo. He could have easily got himself an interference call because when you come off the top like that, I think he was trying to swat it down, just couldn't do it.
3rd and 1 from the 35. The fullback has the first down. And with the fumble, he lost the ball and St. John's recovered. Samillo has the fumble recovered. We were watching McKenna upfield and Billy Samillo has the ball, and he is one happy St. John's player as the Redmen take over with 3:19 to go, leading by 3.
There was a tough break for a fullback that's been working hard all day. He had the first down, had control of the football. At the last minute, he just didn't put both arms around the football, and the result, he fumbled it away.
So St. John's leading 24-21.
That's the kind of thing you don't want to happen to your club, but you watch right there before he goes down, he gets hit from behind by Ed Harkins, and the ball just pops loose.
Big hit by Ed Harkins, and it's 1st and 10 for the Redmen. You don't want to give up the football here, and Jameson's going to make sure, going to keep it himself here as he gets down to the 35. Both clubs have not used their timeouts. Chuck Chawinski made the stop. Ticking away, we're down to 3:07. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 35. Out of the ball game comes Sam Hargrove. Tommy Sadler checks in as Bob Ricker's club has come from behind. They trailed in this game 14-3. They now lead by a score of 24-21.
With this field position, they're going to do the safe thing and run the clock, and it looks like Jameson's going to keep that football.
And this is Blygen. Slips one tackle, still on his feet, driven out of bounds, shy of the first down as he got to around the 30-yard line. Tim Feldman drove him out.
We'd have to say that's the wrong thing to do at this stage, getting out of bounds.
That's what he didn't want to do. Blygen gets running room to his outside, and he wants to turn this thing up here, but he gets forced out of bounds. You should never do when you're working against the clock.
And look who forced him out. 5'7", or rather 5'10", 165-pound Feldman. They're going to bring the chains in. Looked like it was shy of the first down, but gave him a little more forward progress inside the 30. You can see it. It is a St. John's first down. So the Redmen have it. A big first down with 2:35 to go. And they have the football and have some time to eat up here.
Watching the St. John's offensive unit, many guys were holding their hands up in salute to the first down. Hopefully they don't get overconfident at this point and not do the kind of job that they must do at this point to maintain this ball control.
There's a look at the Hofstra side of Mickey Kwiatkowski, whose team has lost 2 in a row to St. John's. Hoping for the big play by his defense, which has been the story all year. Hand off to Casa, and he fumbles the football, and Hofstra has recovered. Just as we're talking about the big play from his defense, Hofstra recovers. Mike Forrest recovered the fumble or made the hit. We'll look at it again. Nevertheless, Hofstra gets the football.
There's the thing that you just have to be careful at this stage of the game. Great field position. You do not want to give up the ball. Of course, you've got to say that Hofstra did rip the stripping of the football.
A lot of hard hitting going right there as they went to Casa. So the clock shows 2:27 to go. It's stopped right now on the change of possession. And Cadella going to probably have to put it in the air here. They've got wide receivers to the right and left. Just as one setback, McKenna behind the quarterback. Cadella rolling. Looking downfield, throwing right over to Steve Mady. Mady's got it.
Touchdown.
He's down at the 20. 15, Samillo chasing, and it is a touchdown. And just like that, off
Hofstra has regained the lead. I can't believe it, Emerson Forser, just like last year, but it's the reverse right now. And we still have 2:14 to go. Time for Todd Jamison to come back.
It is the kind of play that Cadillo had tried all afternoon. He had men open at least twice on the same kind of pattern. This time he gets him out there, gets the football there, and they were off to the races.
They pulled the man back in motion, and of course, fake they reversed to him, and Matty went straight down the field. Trying to think now who maybe blew the coverage, Emerson.
I'm sure somebody did that. St. John's had two men over in the area, but Matty was a little bit deeper than anybody else. Was able to latch onto the football and off to the races.
Cadillo chasing a 70-yard pass. Cadella, and we'll check it out. I believe that maybe his only second completion of the day. And what a big one. He's been a big play guy all year. Cavanero's kick is up, and it's good.
You know,
and with 2:14 to go, it is 28-24. A very important kick because now St. John's cannot tie the game. They need a touchdown to win it.
We'll watch it again here.
All right, Cavanero to kick off Hargrove and Scary to take the kick. And it's going to be Hargrove, the speedster. Hargrove up the middle, gets to the 20-yard line, and he stopped there where St. John's quickly will put it in play. 2:08 to go, and they have all their timeouts, I believe, as Todd Jamison's going to have to try to do what he did last year, bring his team back 1st and 10, and mark it at the 25-yard line. Jamison has thrown for 1 touchdown. He's run for 2, and Hofstra's vaunted pass defense looking to break up a possible long pass here, I'm sure, as we get set to go. Cleary wide to the right, Esposito wide to the left. Jamison with time, plenty of time. You can't give him that kind of time. Still looking for Lynch, and now throws it up over here and complete to Esposito as he had about 10 or 12 seconds to get rid of the football. David Bergman finally made the tackle on Esposito.
They're rushing with 3 defensive linemen, but that offensive line of St. John's been keeping them away from Jamison. Of course, he's very active back there, and he's hard to get a hold of regardless of what kind of pass rush you get.
Jamison 11 for 23 for 150 yards. Timeout taken by St. John's. And I believe the officials are now signaling that it is a timeout. Bob Ricca having a word with the 5 of the Hofstra defenders in that area, and it sets up another crucial 3rd down play from the 48-yard line with 1:19 to go. Jamison has rushed for 2 and has thrown for 1 last year against Hofstra. He rushed for 5 touchdowns and passed for 1.
He hasn't thrown well all day.
Well, Todd Jamison has had problems throwing. Let's see what he does here. A lot of receivers out there. Complete and a leaping catch to Cleary. Cleary gets him the 1st down. He's the money receiver, and it's inside the 40 down at the 34-yard line with 1:13 to go.
You'd have to say if there's one player in this football game that's doing a tremendous job, it's Cleary. He's cut everything when he knew he was going to really get hit. Here again now he's trying to get the ball to him, and of course stop the clock if nothing else, get out of bounds.
Just when I thought Jamison was throwing poorly, he throws the ball downfield about 10 yards. Excellent catch by Cleary, great concentration, gets his hands on it, and makes sure he makes the reception. Well executed.
1:06 to go, gentlemen. 2nd down coming up from the 34-yard line. St. John's trying to pull it out here. Hargrove wide to the left. Cleary wide to the right. Jamison to throw. He wants to throw down the sideline for Flygen. Did he catch it inbounds? No. Out of bounds. Good call by the officials. Flygen caught the ball. He's arguing down at around the 15. But he did. Clearly, we could see it from our vantage point that he was out of bounds when he caught it.
We've got a replay over there, Coach Michael. See what you think of it.
Yes, I think he was out of bounds here.
And he comes down with that
He comes down that right foot out of bounds before he drags the left one. He was definitely out of bounds.
St. John's 5 for 14 on 3rd down conversions. 59 seconds to go in the game. 3rd and 10 from the 34. In trouble as Jamison throws, falling down, incomplete. Great pressure put on by the Hofstra defense. Chuck Chawinski, number 99, Mike Forst, number 90, and Ed Ainbinder, number 92, all coming in hard. That's the first time we've seen them really put some pressure on Jamison in the recent series.
There's the kind of thing that Hofstra's going to have to do if they're going to put this game away. They're going to have to get this kind of pass rush.
Look at Ainbinder. Boy, did he blow by somebody, Emerson.
Well, it's the kind of thing, as Coach Michael said, that it's going to put the pressure on the St. John's quarterback, and Jamison is to get him up into the backfield and make him throw the football when he doesn't want to throw it.
Ball game coming right down to this 4th and 10 from the 33-yard line, 53 seconds to go. Jamison wide open up the middle to Esposito. He has, I believe, enough for the first down. His forward progress will be marked at the 21. That will give St. John's another opportunity here with 45 seconds to go.
Somebody left that middle wide open for Hofstra there. It seemed like they were playing for the ball to possibly go out of bounds. Of course, the middle was wide open. No linebackers underneath those hooks to the inside.
What they're doing is getting him back a little bit too deep into the outside, and they're giving St. John's the middle, which with 40-some seconds on the clock, you cannot afford to do that.
Todd, Chris Esposito coming up with a very crucial 4th down reception. And I believe St. John's has 1 timeout remaining. We're checking that right now. We're down to 42 seconds to go. And St. John's will have it 1st and 10. Now, nobody's left this stadium, Walt Michaels and Emerson Boozer.
This is almost, excuse me, Walt, it certainly is an exciting football game. They got me jumping here a little bit, Emerson.
This is reminiscent of last year's ball game, where it took a score late in the ball game by St. John's to beat Hofstra. Hofstra came back, made an attempt for a field goal, but missed.
Barry Cavadero, remember that picture? Head hung down. Stayed on the field for about 10 minutes. 42 seconds to go. Jamison has time. Going to run out of the pocket, throwing to the end zone. It is going to be knocked down as Fleury was the intended receiver. It might have been called for face guarding over there, but Ron Scorselli was defending on the play, and it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 21.
Good defensive play. You're absolutely correct, Barry. That very possibly could have been a call by the official, but right now they're not going to take the game away from the players. They're going to let them play.
That would have been some kind of catch.
It certainly was. He was up there in good position to catch it. He just couldn't come down.
6'4", and he was using every inch right there. 34 seconds to go. 2nd down. Pitch back to Blygen. Behind Casa. Blygen trying to cut back. Will get inside the 15 to the 14. Chuck Chawinski stopped him, and St. John's will use their final timeout, I believe. No, they have 1 more, we're told.
I don't fully understand this one. I could see it if it were a halfback option type, but this was clearly a run by Blygen. He gets his fullback out in front of him in one of his tackles, but they intended to run the football there.
And as a result, they had to use one of their timeouts.
They've got 1 more, so it's 3rd and 3 from the 14-yard line.
Of course, they don't have to save that timeout for a field goal, Emerson, so I think he's going to go all the way down to the wire with this thing. And if he has to use the last timeout, he will to get the best play in. Of course, if he has to stop the clock, he's just going to keep throwing or throw it out of the end zone so he doesn't run out of time on the clock.
Right. They've adjusted the clock down to 24 seconds. Of course, the officials have the official time down on the field. The scoreboard clock shows 24 seconds now. As Esposito winds up wide to the left. Cleary wide to the right. They've got double coverage on Cleary. Blygen lines up as a wing to the right, and Jamison looking toward the end zone. Knocked down beautifully. Number 50, Jeff Tepper, the middle linebacker, replaced Jamie Lavelle. The big surprise in training camp comes up with his biggest knockdown of the day. Well, 4th down coming up.
There's the kind of thing.
Seconds to go.
Strangely enough, he did not have a very deep drop on that play, Barry. He was just tall enough to get in front of that ball because the receiver was wide open there, and he found the open spot in that zone. It looks like they're playing a type of zone in there, and linebacker just barely got the tip on the ball.
4th and 3 from the 14. 19 seconds to go. And the officials talking things over. Now Hofstra, or rather St. John's, will go back and re-huddle as they mark the ball for play. Em, what do you think is going to happen here?
Keep the football here. I think Todd Jamison is aware that he needs 3 yards for the first down. He's got a little bit of time left. He'll hold on to it.
Now Jamison going to throw to this near side, looking, doesn't have anybody now, throws toward the end zone, knocked down, and incomplete. The Hofstra defense has done it.
Number 3, Tony Mateo, the strong safety, looking over at the officials to see if there might be a call on him. He didn't see any flags, and he leaped for joy, the youngster out of New Hyde Park, and Hofstra has held. So the defense, which yields, which bends, but doesn't break, has done it again.
Strangely enough, that's the first thing I looked for, a yellow flag.
I think they got somewhat of a small break this time because Mateo does have his right hand on the back of the receiver, the intended receiver, and reaches around with the left to knock the ball away.
Yes, it was on the replay. Again, once again, there was a possibility of a penalty. However, as we said before and mentioned, that they weren't going to take the game away from the players unless it was a definite foul infraction.
And if you remember, it was a penalty last year on Hofstra's defense that helped set up Jamison's game-winning touchdown. And the clock will tick away here. Cadella holding onto the football. We're down to 7, 6, 5. The Hofstra fans ready to erupt just below us. This one just about history. Now the clock stopped with 5 seconds as the Redmen take their final timeout. And it's a shame somebody has to lose this football game.
It's a shame that both these teams can't be in that playoff now because they both are very definitely what I consider the tops in Division III football. And both these coaches have done a tremendous job here today. And of course, more so to St. John's in the second half. Coach Ricca surely must have made some fantastic adjustments in there to get those 3 touchdowns on the board.
And you got to give credit to Hofstra, the big play. The offensive big play. Their defense has come up with a big play all year. And today, Cadella, who had completed just 1 pass up to that game-winning touchdown pass to Steve Mady, connected.
Yeah, it appears as though he was just saving that one to win the ball game, so to speak, Barry.
We're down to 5 seconds. This is it. All Hofstra has to do is hold out of the football. The Flying Dutchman will improve their record to 8-0. They've got 2 tough games coming up, one against Hobart and the other against the Hofstra Academy. Cadella just falls down. Remember when the Giant quarterback had problems a couple of years ago? And that will do it, as this game is history. So the battle for bragging rights, the Long Island battle between Hofstra and St. John's is over. And Hofstra, after losing 2 years in a row to St. John's, comes up with a victory. Mickey Kwiatkowski and Bob Ricca shake hands on the far side. And good to see that. These 2 classy guys have done great jobs with their programs, Walt Michaels. And as we said, it's hard for somebody to lose this one.
It certainly is. They're 2 fine coaches who've done a tremendous job getting their programs together. And it's fitting that Long Island can have this type of football. I think it's fitting also that they have so many good football players because most of them are Long Island kids and they're in the first 5. They're in 2 teams here are in the top 5 of Division III. That says well for Long Island football.
Well, a lot of these assistant coaches know one another. A lot of these high school kids from so many of the Long Island high schools played as teammates, played against one another. And it's just great to see the kids get the recognition, to see a crowd of over 4,200 here, and to see the media coverage for this game. And as you said, Walt, who knows? Maybe Union College will lose, and these 2 clubs will be back here knocking heads in a couple of weeks, November 19th. We'd sure love to see that.
Certainly would. It'd be another fine football game.
So this one is history. The St. John's Redmen took the lead in the 4th quarter on a tie.